that's what SMG mean?
All right, welcome guys. We are here to do a Elden Ring recap. Everything Elden Ring. Is going to range from spoilers, of course. Gonna throw a little lore in there because I've been watching the YouTube vids out there. Nick hasn't. He just says shit that he thinks it is. He has these wild theories and shit. So I'm gonna let him rock with that. The
Oh
bosses, the
God.
areas, everything. This is gonna be a clean sweep. So I'm thinking this is it's gonna be at least a two-parter, maybe three. It depends.
Yeah.
We might end up going a little quicker than I don't know. I'm not sure with the pacing, but it's definitely it's gonna be a lengthy one. All right.
Mhm.
And of course I'm here with my guy Nick, my fellow Elden Ring partner who I've been on this Souls journey with. Uh, thank God for him, because if it wasn't for him, none of my other close friends even played the game. So I just would have been lost in the rapture of love. And yeah, I kind of want to just jump straight into it, man. What you think about that? You
Mhm.
got anything you want to say before we get started? Any
Uh,
preface? Anything?
First of all, I have been watching videos.
Okay,
I don't like the slander on the name, but there are sometimes, yeah, I will theorize a little bit too hard.
it's okay. Thank God for Google and other people that actually really get into the lore. Or I will be, because the thing about Nick is he'll sound so believable. Like y'all hear this guy? Like I would buy something from this guy. Like he really sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You should go into sales. I don't know if anybody ever told you that, but you know,
No, no, they
okay.
haven't.
You're very persuasive. So if I didn't know any better, I'd believe this shit. But now these days, before you even get started and saying some shit, I'd be like, hold on, let me check from a credible source, because you will say anything. And yeah, there's
That's
gonna be
true.
some speculation in here, of course, and I'm just fucking
Uh-huh.
with him. Don't take everything I say to the bank at all, because I'm just going off what other people say. So if they're wrong, guess what? There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning, like even pregame.
Yeah.
Uh, I was somebody that didn't even know about Dark Souls until like remember the craze when Crash Bandicoot came out. I think it was around that time, like the remaster,
Yes.
and everybody was like, "Yo, I didn't know Crash was so hard. This is like the Dark Souls of whatever, blah blah blah." And
Mhm.
then that became like the saying, the meme. Like every new game that came out that was a little bit hard, people were like, "That this is the Dark Souls of blah blah blah," and this is the dark. So that's kind of my first my first memory of the IP at all. Really, it goes back that far. My second memory is actually with you. We was at PAX South, and guys were dressing up what they call cosplaying
Yeah.
as the guys at the kindling or the fire or the
Yeah.
grace
That was
or the
back with
whatever
Dark
they called
Souls
it back
3.
then.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were like, dude, Dark Souls, you was like nerding out over it. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this guy talking? I had no clue. What the fuck is this? I thought I'm thinking of some Dungeons and Dragons type. Well, I guess technically it is some Dungeons and
It
Dragons
is.
type shit. I am lost at that point. I'm only playing Destiny. I'm only playing the shooters, the Overwatches, all that. So I had no clue. Okay, so and that was years ago. Was this 2017? Maybe
Yeah. It was
this is
17.
yeah. So that, and then when people came up with that saying, that's all I knew about it. Truth be told, I did not even know Elden Ring was a Souls game until 2 weeks before it came out. I hadn't even really heard of Elden Ring at all. I had no clue. Um, Nick, of course, was like, "Dude, this is Souls game." He trying to put me on game about the Bloodborne was one of his favorite games and blah blah blah. I got sucked into the hype just off GP, FOMO, all that. I'm with it. Okay, I pre-ordered 2 weeks before it came out and all that. So Nick, you kind of want to just tell people about your history with the
Yeah.
Souls.
So to go back to what you were saying when we went to PAX South, that was the first time I got introduced right before we went there was to Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
It was one of my buddies from my unit. He was like, "Hey, this new Dark Souls game came out. I had never played Dark Souls before." And he was like, "Come on, we'll run through it together or whatever else." And we played it and I loved it. Like um we played through the whole thing. Like I just went back and looked. Like my last save was like in 2017 sometime. Like that's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
Um, After that, like I played it a little bit more, but I don't know, I fell off because we had played the game together, but it was in during COVID, when I was living with Steve. He put me on the Bloodborne, and we ran through that game. Put in so many hours, so much time. Of course, that was a couple years after the game had already come out. He was
Okay.
replaying it. Um, he put me on to some of the builds and everything in that game, and it became one of my favorites. Like that to the DLC. Like I had just been playing it and playing it and playing it. So whenever Elden Ring first was teaser trailered and I guess thought of when they said George R. Martin was going to be partnering with From Software for a game,
Hmm.
I immediately knew. I was like, this game is going to have all kinds of Dark Souls and just dragons in it. I was expecting a lot more dragons just because of watching Game of Thrones, but I
Yeah.
knew it was going to be an amazing story if they had him on. And luckily, it didn't fall short of season 8 like Game of Thrones did. It came
There
out
you
to
go.
be
You
an amazing
relapsing, huh?
game.
It's bringing back
Yeah,
PTSD.
yeah. So that's when I told you I was like, yo, we gotta look into this game, especially with more and more coming out about it. It was like it was open world. They had all this stuff to it. Again, like just the hype behind George R. R. Martin and then the From Software games themselves. It was like this had to be an amazing game. And just like you, I pre-ordered it, but I wanted to get the disc version, just to have. And yeah, that's
Okay,
that for
so
that one.
your experience goes as far as Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. Do you
Yeah.
ever plan on playing the first two
So
or
I
Demon
did
Souls?
start. I have not with Demon Souls. I did put that on my wish list because when I saw it, I was like, "This game sounds familiar, but it doesn't look familiar." And of course, it's only because I've only heard of Demon Souls, and I guess Demon Souls was the original game before Dark Souls and so on and so forth, like the beginning of them all. I did buy the remastered Dark Souls because I wanted to actually replay all the way through them. And I got pretty far on Dark Souls, but of course, you know how it goes in people's gaming catalogs. They fall off for a little while and they have it. I'll get back to it, but I see why, unless you played the games back then, are you really going to enjoy them? Because um, Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, I know they are very, very, very linear games. Now, they do have those premises that you see all the way up to Elden Ring, where you have little secret areas that you can get into later on, or these little bypassing areas. But for the most part, it is
The whole
very,
game is
very,
like a
very
bunch of
linear.
dungeons, like the dungeons in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
That's there. Okay. But cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen a lot of. Okay, so let me tell you something else. So when I was like first getting started, and you know this because I bring her up all the time because you know when you have a memory of something and that's your first memory of it, so it's like
Yeah.
sticks in your brain, like it's special to you. Okay, so the weekend before Elden Ring dropped, so Elden Ring was dropping what, the Thursday, so this
Mm-hmm.
would be like the Saturday before that. I didn't have anything to do that weekend, so I'm just at my computer all Saturday. So I'm like, you know what? Elden Ring dropped this week. They say it's like Dark Souls. Okay, I'm like, okay, what's the newest Dark Souls? So I could kind of compare it. So I go to Dark Souls 3 in the Twitch directory,
Yeah.
and I pull up like the first stream I see. Boom, is this guy? He hadn't even started the shit yet. He's kind of going through the path to get to Freed,
Mm-hmm.
Sister Freed, Frida, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so I saw him going through the thing. Kind of, I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? I'm like, bro, what have I gotten myself into? Like, this looks stupid as hell. That's not something I want to play. Okay, he gets through that area. He gets to her, and the boss fight start. And I'm just like, man, I almost got like hypnotized watching this shit because it's like a dance, bro. And he
Mm-hmm.
got killed. And he got killed again. He got killed again. And he got killed again. Next thing you know is I've been watching this dude for an hour getting killed by the same boss. And I'm like, yo, I had kind of had that moment where like, bro, okay, I get it, kind of like, just from a consumer standpoint, well, a viewer
Mm-hmm.
standpoint of just watching this shit. I'm like, damn, I can see how You know, like you know what I'm saying. So
It's
next thing you
intense.
know, right? I go through my whole day almost. I'm watching other shit. I'm playing games. I done ate. I done did everything. I look over at my other screens. I got 2 screens. I look over at my other screen. The dude's still fighting her. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? This shit is crazy. This is what I want to play, really? And I heard the midst of the hard shit and all that. I'm
Yeah,
like, sheesh. But yeah, it's my fondest memory. So Sister Free. That's the only
Sister
reason I want
Free.
to play Dark Souls 3 just to fight her. I feel like I gotta check that off some kind of list or something.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
and
we could do that.
I'm with it, bro. And while I'm there, I just want to say that that's turned into like one of my hobbies. These days, if I log into Twitch, it's not to like watch one of my friends or something. Honestly, and I feel bad for it. It's to watch somebody fight a Dark Souls boss or a Bloodborne boss. I've been watching a lot of Bloodborne, and I don't even like to watch the game. Really, just the fights for me, unless it's one of my friends playing it. I watch the whole thing. But I go through the directory and I look to see who has the red bar at the bottom of their screen. And I keep scrolling until I
Yeah,
find I'm like, okay, a boss battle. Let's watch it. And I'll watch that shit. I go to sleep to it. Like, bro, I'm might be addicted. I don't know, but that's been my
yeah.
thing.
They are very intense games. As a matter of fact, I also played Sekiro, but I'll tell you, like that's one game that actually defeated me, where I stopped. I just stopped altogether playing it.
Damn.
It is a whole other beast because I love watching people who are good at that game
Hmm.
play it because the battles in that game are so intense, right? And like everybody says, Sekiro is way different than the rest of the Elden Ring game or Elden Ring, Dark Souls. We'll say the Dark Souls games in general,
Hmm.
right? Because there is not a true leveling system in that game. If you've ever noticed, you can
Hmm.
get your health up. There are certain things that they can get your attack power up, and you use a lot more tools and items within the game through your, I think it's like spirit ashes or something else like that. But as far as you getting a stat line to create your own player, you do not. You are the lone wolf, or however they describe him in the game, and you play as him. That's it. You can't change how, you can change on the methods on how you want to play him in your style,
But he's a
but
guy.
there's no, yeah, he is the guy. He's the sole guy that you are playing most of the game, and you can't really tailor him to the way you want. But
And
it's
you
still a
see,
great game.
this is why I didn't watch a lot of Sekiro. Well, none really. I really just been
Hmm.
watching Bloodborne and the Souls, because I was told that that's the most similar to Elden Ring. So I want to watch something
Yeah.
like what I'm playing. And Sekiro is a lot different. So I kind of
Hmm.
stayed away from that. Um, and I got to a point in Elden Ring where I was working a lot, like in the first couple weeks where it came out, where I couldn't play it as much as I wanted to. So I kind of fell behind. So at first it's spoilers. After a while, if you're watching it at all or you're on the internet, you're gonna see the spoiler. You can't
Hmm.
dodge them. And there with Elden Ring, it's not quite spoilers. More so of you might see a boss beforehand, but that's what I didn't want. I kind
Yeah.
of just wanted a fresh take on it. But I got to a point where I was trying to avoid shit. So I was like, I want to avoid this, but at the same time, I'm so addicted to like the format of these boss fights and what's going on that I want to keep digesting this type of content. So I'm like, So
Hmm.
I started watching the old shit, the Souls, and so that's kind of how I got into
Yeah.
watching all that in the first place. Uh, so yeah, man, let's get it started. Let's start right at the beginning. What they call it, prototype? Did you go with what default class? What
Oh
starting
yeah, what
class did you start
character?
out with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
class. So we'll start before the game even came out, right? When they first announced it. Of course, for the most part, you always know that they're going to have the simple classes of like the hero, the warrior, and the mage. Those are like the main three classes that they've always had. But now that they've developed a more stat lines especially in this game, and be more classes as far as the tools and the elements and the weapons go, I was stuck between prisoner and samurai. I thought about prisoner because I wanted to go for a more magic build in this game because I heard that this game is going to be heavy on the magic. And I'm sure you've seen in other games of the Dark Souls. It's not that it's not useful in the other games. It's just it's not as prevalent just because of the casting times and everything
It's
else.
it's a lot more practical to hack and slash. Jump
Yeah.
up on a bitch and bust on them.
Yes.
Okay.
So like my one after that between prisoner and samurai was like I'll go as samurai my first round and see how it goes because I just after playing Ghost of Tsushima I was like I gotta go samurai. So there was my whole spell on why I took that class over the
Okay.
rest of them.
I see a lot of people pick samurai and they ended up going in their favor because blood loss is crazy. The
Yes.
katana do the blood loss and they had the extra stat pattern on that with the what is
Hmm.
called the whatever katana and the blood or I mean in the
The
Ashen
rivers of
Wars and
blood
yeah
or the
all that
yeah
shit.
yeah.
So yeah, so they kind of lucked up with that. Everybody went with the
Hmm.
samurai class, and it looks cool. Who don't want to be a fucking samurai? Uh, I don't know, and I kind of had a feeling that people was gonna do that, so I kind of went against the grain, kind of, which not really, because a bunch of people had like the fake build, suit fate strengths. What they call it, paladin classes. Technically, is like what it is, but not
If
quite.
you're if you're a heavy, because I don't think you're as much of a heavy build,
No, I'm
are
not.
you?
No.
Yeah. So the heavy like strength faith people, yeah, they're more paladins because they're more tank. You're not
Okay.
really tanky with your
Yeah, I'm
guy,
not.
are
I'm
you?
not. Nah, I'm not tanky at all. I went with the confessor.
Mhm.
Uh, why did I do that? Probably because he looked the best, and I figured that in the long run, that's kind of the play style I wanted to go. And I was just kind of shooting in the dark. Like I said, it was my first one, and I figured you could respec it later on. So I was like, fuck it, until I could respec, I'm gonna rock with this. And I'm still rocking with my first build. I tried to respec once. And it didn't go well, and I went back to what I had during the Millennia fight because she had me in the fucking blender. But we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still rocking with it. Like I said, I went with a scythe for pretty much the whole game. I didn't really
Mhm.
switch it up because it's like if I go to something else, if I go to something smaller, I didn't quite have the decks I wanted to be able to really do what I want to do with that,
Yeah.
and I didn't really have the strength to. I barely had the strength to use the Colossals, which, bro, they just got that buff. I need to go see what the fuck
Yeah.
is up with that. Yeah, it
That
was
that
just
was
too
my next
slow.
thing was that.
It was just too slow. I couldn't fuck with it. So the scythe was just right. It had the range, and then it was to where I wasn't gaining that much by what they call it when you two handed the some pose. Anyway, two
Hmm.
handed it, I didn't gain that much more attack power. So it's like, okay, I got this in this hand, and I want to throw lightning bolts in this one. So I kind of one handed the whole time. It was doing the same amount of damage. If I was. So it just worked out. It was a nice uh a nice balance to the play style. No
Yeah.
bosses
Did
really
you
gave me no crazy problems.
did you find any other sites? Because when I checked online, that was one of the classes
There's four of them.
between
I
that
have
one,
three.
yeah, and it just didn't seem like it offered a whole lot of weaponry for
Well,
it.
what it was, it don't. It's four of them. You have the regular scythe, you have the wing scythe, you have the halo scythe, and you have the grave scythe, grave something,
Yeah, grave robber or something like
grave
that.
robber, yeah,
I
some
think I
shit
said
like
this.
that. That's the one I don't have. But another reason I went with the wing scythe for so long is that's still like my primary weapon is that, bro, it carried the shit out of me, especially like early to mid game.
Yeah,
It carried the hell out of me. I was kind of just I ain't really had that many problems. Because it breaks their paws on that first swipe and it's fucking them up on that second one. So it's not too many things that was just giving me problems. So that's my baby to this day. I haven't really picked a successor for it yet, which I will, and I'm ready to because I'm kind of tired of using it honestly. And there's so many other weapons in the game. I just want to try some different shit out. But yeah,
understandable.
that's what I went with. So where do we start out? Limgrave.
Yep.
Uh, you start out in Limgrave, and it's kind of like, okay, you see the fucking tree center. That's the first thing I seen. And I saw him before I even got to him. I'm watching my people stream the game, so I'm already knowing he in the first spot and all of that. And I'm gonna be real with you. There's maybe three, maybe four enemies or bosses in the entire game that I stopped and was like, I'm gonna have to catch you later, bro. Like, nah, fuck that. And two of them was very early game where I didn't have a full grasp on the game and what the fuck was going
Yeah.
on and what to do. Tree Sentinel was definitely one of them. Whereas, like, bro, now I'm not saying I didn't sit down for hours with certain bosses, but I sat down till I beat their ass. I didn't just walk away. It was like, nah, if I started on a boss, I wanted to finish him.
Mm-hmm.
Tree Sentinel, bro. It took a bro. I ain't beat Tree Sentinel until I was like level 48, something like that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He had my number. What Tree Sentinel ended up being for me was the tutorial, bro. Seriously. Which, did you know there was a tutorial in the game?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay, okay.
I got a funny story about that. Yeah.
Me too, because I just found it like 2 days ago on accident. But I was just
Okay.
yeah. But okay. Tree Sentinel ended up being like the tutorial for me. I know a lot of people say that was Margit for them. And Margit is like that first stop where it's like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
this is what the game is. This is what the type of opposition you're going to get for the rest of the game. Are you ready for this? Because this is what it is. And Margit was kind of that first obstacle where it's like, yeah, shit is gonna be real. And but nah, it was Margit. Margit was a little, a challenge. It was a
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Did I come back from Margit? I might have, just because I was so green, bro. I might have. But it wasn't like Tree Sentinel. I came back for Tree Sentinel like 5, 6 times before I really like. I'm talking about sitting down and really fighting them. Not okay. Let me see if I can beat him now. No, I can't leave him. Like,
Yeah.
nah, real bouts. So but I tell you what. After I beat Tree Sentinel, I fought him so many times that I saw the volcanic Tree Sentinel or whatever they
Oh,
call
the
him,
draconic one. The
draconic
draconic.
Tree Sentinel. There's 2 of them. No problem, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I fucked them up first time. The double Tree Sentinel fight fucked them up. It's like, bro, I know this guy. Like, no, that's
Yep.
not happening no more. Like, I fought you so many times and you did me so dirty that like I didn't get my hands dirty with him at all for the rest of the game. And he popped up a few more times, even at Draconic, and they got fucked up. But yeah, what was your first uh
So since I had already played the Souls games before, I already knew that the Sentinel was there, like you said, like he is there as a welcome to the game.
that's
If
great.
you're a first time thing, because when I first fought him, I was like, oh yeah, they always do that in the Dark Souls games. They put a late game boss in the beginning to see if you're gonna stick at it or if you're gonna continue going. Of course, veterans they're gonna sit there and chop
They're
them
nuts.
up.
Dude, people was beating them at level 1. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, what the fuck? I'm like, that's why I kept fighting them at the beginning. I'm like, hell no, they could do it. I could, fuck that.
Mhm.
So I pretty much had to level to beat him. Because that's the thing about this one, and I know I saw some other guys talk about it, and that's probably not the case for the other ones. You could probably kind of form in the other ones, but not like this one, where you can
Mhm.
out level a lot of the bosses in this game and just level and just beat their ass after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which cool. But that was definitely the case for Tree
Mhm.
Sentinel, for sure.
So for me, after that though, and we're gonna go back to the tutorial thing because this is what happened to me.
Okay.
I got fucking lost. So after I got to the Church of Ilith or whatever the first one
Mm-hmm.
was, of course you touched the grace. I couldn't find any other graces for a while. So I'm over here looking for other graces, going into caves and shit with like 2,000
Nah,
plus
they are pretty
souls.
spread out at the beginning, and I think
Yeah.
that it's for that reason. Like they're very calculated. I've noticed about these people, so they probably
Mhm.
spread them out in that first area to be like, nah, you gonna explore to find another Grace motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And I couldn't tell you how many souls I lost in the beginning. So when I was a samurai, I had killed that the wolf man in the cave
That was my first.
without.
That was my first boss, bro. I was so proud of that.
Yeah, I killed him in the first cave, and then of course there's no uh touch
Grace.
of grace in there or sight of grace in there. I was like, where the hell is the next grace so I can level up? I know it has to be around here because like you can't tell me I'm gonna go throughout half this game without me finding one so I can finally level up. And I forgot who I talked to. Somebody told me they were like, yeah, there's a whole tutorial in a little pit that you can go through to. And I was like, huh? Mind you, by the time I heard about that, I was already level 70 as well, already level 70. So I was like, I'm gonna go see what this is. And it was like, oh wow, this is a legit ass tutorial. Killed the
It
boss in like
was.
3 swings.
He's
Uh,
become a meme, by the way, because I think a lot of people just like me have like just found it. He's the soldier of Godric or something.
yes,
He's been popping up in a lot of memes lately. So I think a lot of people are just now finding that or something. Got to be. 'Cause
it's
I hadn't even know about. Now I'm seeing them everywhere. That's crazy.
hmm yeah, and that's the crazy part. And like it was my brother who told me about the tutorial actually, because it was my brother. He was on stream watching, and he saw what level I was. I was like level 50 or 60, and he's like, "Have you beat Margit yet?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Bro, go beat Margit. You're way
Yeah,
too high for Margit." And
yeah.
then, lo and behold, I was like second try. I could have beat him first try, but he kind of boot me off the map.
Uh huh.
Um, but yeah, from Limegrave, I went up to Stormville, but then I went backwards because I saw it on the map. I kept looking. I was like, a lot of this is foggy. There's got to be something down here. And there was
Bro,
so much to
I,
explore.
I don't think I realized until like day 3 that my map was actually like getting bigger.
Hmm.
Like I didn't realize until I kept opening. I was like, this looks like, because the way the way they do it with the profile of the shit,
Yeah.
it's like the actual shit doesn't get bigger, just the area, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like the actual image doesn't get bigger. So it looks kind of like the same size because like they zoom out as it goes, as the maps get bigger, they zoom out. So it looks like this shit is the same size. So and I'm just running around doing shit, not even looking at my map that much, really. So a couple days pass, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And I zoom out, and I'm like, hold on, this map just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, yo, when does it stop? And what do you know? It don't stop until you damn near beat the game. So that's crazy to me, bro. The just
Hmm.
the sheer size of the shit. But we'll get to that also. But
Yeah.
yeah, to piggyback on what you said, I didn't find Weeping Peninsula until I for sure went all the way through Stormville. For sure. It might have been further than that, but I definitely
Hmm.
didn't get to it. I was all the way through Stormville and halfway through Lernia Lakes probably till I went back and somebody must have told me something about it, or because I sure didn't
I
find
think
it no
it
more.
was me.
It
I
probably
think it
was.
was
And I'm like,
me.
oh, there's something down there. What you mean? Yeah, it's a whole
Hmm.
nother area. So yeah, I kind of zoomed through that little area because I was so OP by then. Because I feel like the enemies in that area are even weaker than the starting area, and it's
Yeah,
just
and
yeah,
I
it's trippy.
think and that's the funny thing is that they did that. I think they did that on purpose to make you kind of go backwards to figure everything out to get like your bearing of where you're at. That it's going to put you not really mid game, but it's going to put you toward in a place where if you want to continue forward at where you're at and try and beat a high level boss, go ahead. But if you need to go backwards, basically, go back a little bit and figure out how to do everything.
Now that's the beautiful thing about this, bro. That
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying, it wasn't that much of a spoiler watching other people do it because it's so many different ways to reach different areas, and it's so many like, bro, I'll be watching somebody and they're way ahead of me, and I mention something that I'm thinking for sure they've seen. They'd be like, "What the fuck is that? I've never even." To this day, it's certain bosses because I kind of after I beat the game, I kind of did a sweep. I'm still doing. I'm not all the way done. I'm not even in New Game Plus already because I want to just go through everything without having any map barriers or anything. I want to just be able to get to some
Yeah.
shit, beat it, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I'll mention somebody or a boss, and they're like, "Who the fuck is that?" And they done beat the shit a month ago. So it's crazy. But even when the shit at first came out, I'm watching somebody stream and I'm like, man, what the hell? And they'll be behind me. They'll be a lesser level than me or whatever. But I'm looking at the stream like, bro, I've never seen this area before. I don't even know where the fuck this person is at. It's crazy. So I love the design of that. And I knew that when the first time Godric beat me the first couple of times and I kind of just gave, I'm like, bro, fuck it, because I was so green still. I'm like, man, I'm going to kill some sheep or something. And somehow I ended up on the other side of Stormville. I'm like, hold on, I could have just bypassed this whole fucking shit. You telling me?
Yeah.
Like you end up like in the throne room, like through some kind of like secret
Yep.
way on the. And I'm like, hold on, this gotta be his share, and I hadn't even fought the nigga yet. Oh no, yeah, that was before I even fought him. So I'm like, it might have been when I
Mhm.
was fighting Morgan or something. I'm like, that's pretty crazy. I still haven't found that area, like all the way under Stormville. Did you go and see all that?
Yeah, there's another
Okay. Yeah,
putrid snake, whatever. There, yeah,
yeah. And then you see like the
that's the
husk.
technically the first one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
technically the one you're supposed to find, the putrid snake. Yeah,
yeah.
the husk of what of
Godwin, like the Prince of Death
yeah.
version of him, like the
Hmm.
shit that spread through. Yeah. I still need to. I keep forgetting. I need to go do that too. But yeah, what you thought of Stormville? Like as a old Souls player, like getting to this area and this enormous legacy dungeon that just kept getting bigger and bigger as you went through it. Kind of like the
So
map, like it's
the
crazy.
Stormville kind of gave that nostalgic vibe in some senses of what Dark Souls would bring. Granted, of course, it's a lot smaller in scale because when you think of Dark Souls, it'll be like a whole map is a castle or a collection of castles, of course. So in this, it's a little bit different, of course, because now it's a more open world. But the whole thing as a whole for Stormville was great. It was really where I felt it more was in um the academy. I don't know what it is, but it like every Dark Souls game or most Dark Souls games has like a church or a library in it. I don't know if you watch some on Bloodborne. There's a whole library where you can go farm in with creatures that crawl, just like the ones, we'll get into that later. But like, there's a lot of the areas that they use are kind of modeled from other games, which I'm sure you see it all the time where people feel nostalgic in certain parts where they find like a weapon. It's like, oh, I remember this from one of my first games of playing Dark Souls, or so many similarities between a lot of the game material they have in here with certain mangas like Berserker or even other games. They model certain of these bosses after older bosses that you've met in the older games. So there was a lot of good feel to it. Of course, it was scaled to size for it, but like you said, like it took me a while to find that underground place, and I had to realize that in this game, it's not really hidden path areas, but mainly underground. There's a lot of underground areas
It's
in
nuts,
all
man.
of these castles.
It's nuts. And I think you really realize we'll get to it. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
to it. But yeah. So I'm going through Stormville, and I'm like, bro, this really feels like a real fucking castle that I'm walking through right now. The scope of it, bro, the scale of it, it's just like yo, and it's just around every corner. It's some shit, man. And you
Mm-hmm.
telling me I gotta go through this whole ass castle and make it into the boss where every time I take two steps, somebody's lunging at me or doing some shit, or crossbow or some shit. You know what I'm saying? The floor is breaking under me. Secret,
Yeah.
it's dark. If I take a wrong step, I'm off the whole fucking map. Like it's crazy, dog. And I gotta go through this whole shit. Like my anxiety started flaring up. I'm like, I'm like, yo, that's when I decided in my mind I am not streaming this shit.
Uh,
No thanks. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I am not. This is gonna be an experience for me and me only. Eventually, I got over that. But in this
mhm.
first area, that's when I realized, like, bro, this shit is really like I get it. This is really real. I'm really playing a Souls game now. Like, yep, this is it. Because before that, you don't really, you going through the forest, killing sheep, killing the little weak guys at the thing, all that little shit. You get in that, you're just like, okay, this is it. I get it now. I need to go back to Stormville, bro. Since I'm the big strong buff guy now. Let's go whoop some
Yeah.
ass before I go to New Game Plus. But yeah. So I was kind of awed by the scaling of it because I'm going through and I'm like, bro, does it ever stop? And I'm the type, in a way, I like linear games. I'm a super fan of open world games, even the ones that suck. Cause I just like that. I've always been since the first GTA. I've been an open world fanatic. So GTA 3. They got me. I like
Yeah.
people don't like I like the divisions. I like open world. Is just to me, open world games are what you make them. They can be bad, of course, but I feel like that's a sandbox for me. I go out and I can make my own fun long as the world is flushed out enough. Uh, so linear games, it's a love hate with them because I hate having so many options of okay, like the semi linear games where you're supposed to go one direction, but they give you so many options to kind of get to that direction. I hate that. Like, either be linear or be open world, bro.
Yeah.
These dungeons are like, okay, there's so many ways to get where you're going that you might miss a whole way. So I'll go down one way, halfway down the path, and be like, no, okay, I gotta see what was over there before I get too far this way. Let me go back the other way and see what was over there in the first place. And while I'm going down there, there's another hallway that takes me somewhere else. Let me go down. So I kept getting in these situations. I'm like, man, fuck, bro. And of course, that's the theme throughout the game, where it's like it's so many pathways and ways to get to the same shit. Just like I was saying with the people that's playing the game, like on a smaller scale and a bigger scale, on the overworld map, there's so many ways to get to the same shit. In the dungeons, there's so many ways to get to the same shit. It's amazing. The
Mhm.
catacombs, same shit. The smaller dungeons and catacombs and shit like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
And
that
in
was
the underworlds too.
yeah.
There's multiple ways to get to all pieces of the underworld.
Exactly. And the mountains, when you talk about Atlas
Mhm.
Plateau, I made it through there. I didn't even know that the lift took you up there because I hadn't even found the other part. But I'm in the same part you in, and
I
I
went and
hadn't even
found
took
the
the lifts.
lifts.
Yeah,
I took the
exactly. I
medallions for
had
the lifts.
I hadn't even took the lifts. And then we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, man. We should probably cover that because we got so much to talk about there. We might not even make
Yeah.
it back to there. But yeah, so my to wrap Stormville up, it was huge for me. It was huge. It was uh mind wrenching going through that. Just like, bro, it fucked me up. But it gets your mind right for the rest of the game. I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't quite have that feeling in any of the other dungeons. Maybe for Zula, maybe, but that wasn't quite dungeony as more of like an area.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It felt more like an area than, but because I was kind of like, like, man, what the fuck is going on in From Missoula? But
Mhm.
besides that, Red
It's
Main,
it's
by the
your
time,
first it's your
yeah.
first area. So of
And it
course,
was
like
huge,
for
bro.
most
I
people,
think I think
yeah.
if we really just sit down and look at it, it might be the biggest one, maybe. What you think?
Biggest
What was bigger than
it
that?
Lindell, the capital.
Lindell. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, like if going from your first one being Stormville, being as massive as it is, then you go to Rhea's Academy, which is a little bit smaller, right? There's a lot going on there, but as far as like area wise, it's really small. And then you don't have anything big again until you get to Lindell Capital.
Okay. So after anything special between Stormville that you want to get to? Oh yeah, Patches was in them grave. I'd never met Patches. Patches is one of like maybe 4 or 5 NPCs that I never met, that I never even met
Mhm.
at all. And which is crazy because I'm really going on this first playthrough. I'm really going out and seeking shit. So for me to still not find all this shit just tells you how big the game is to where I can miss that, and I'm
Mhm.
actively like looking in every corner and checking every bush and
Yeah.
seeing what's up. Uh, so
So
Patches, Bach, he was in Limgrave also, wasn't he? Or was he in Lernia?
Bach,
You might have not
which
met
one is
Baki,
Bach?
the seamster.
Is he sitting in a chair?
I don't know. I don't think
No,
so.
because he gives you the golden needle kit, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
got it, but I didn't even know what it was for. I just literally got it and kept
okay.
dipping.
He has like a whole quest line,
Yeah, I
I
didn't know
believe.
that.
Crazy. But
Mhm.
yeah, I never even met him. Who else? Latina. She's in Lernia for sure. I never met Latina. By the
Mhm.
time I got to her spot, the wolf was dead. I got the other half of the Halleck shit. Um, yeah, it's a few of them. I didn't even meet them. But yeah,
You met the
Bach was. I
samurai
mean,
early on too, right?
he was an invader though, right?
No, he wasn't an invader. He actually assists you with the invader with the blood dagger. So, you meet him way later on to
That was
get
the
his
one
stuff
time
from
I
him.
was. That was the one. Maybe I streamed this maybe twice, and in
Yeah.
one of them streams, it just so happened I came across. That's when you get to the mountaintop of the giants, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but you
Everybody was
meet
like,
him
"Kill him!
all
Get
the
his
way
hat!
in the
Get his hat! Get his hat!"
that was
So
me.
yeah, I
You
killed him.
You meet him way down in the Weeping Peninsula, which is that was my first
Yeah,
wow moment because that's when I met the dragon, and I had one of those moments that everybody on TikTok shared, where it was like, it's that lonely island, and all those guys with the torches are just like, "Ooh," and you're just like, oh, what's going on over here? And then this dragon just comes down and kills them all, and I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? And I just dip out right afterwards.
bro. Is there a dragon in the Whipping Peninsula?
It's the Lake Gil. It's the dragon of Lake of Gil. It's like the very first easy
Okay,
dragon.
okay, okay. Yeah, I killed him.
Yeah, he's hard, of course, for a low level, right? But once you get high enough, it's one
Yeah,
of those. He was the first boss that I actually wanted to kill. Like I didn't want to leave the area, so I just wanted to conquer a dragon. The Skyrim in me came out where I just wanted to kill a dragon.
he's one of those guys. I didn't. I came back from. I didn't even know he was
Yeah.
there till like way later.
But you didn't know about the Weeping
It's kind of
Peninsula
late.
till way later,
Yeah,
anyways.
nah. This was after the Weeping Peninsula because he wasn't quite in the Weeping Peninsula. He was South Limgrave, but not in the. He was kind of
Yeah,
where the Weeping Peninsula met the
yeah.
main land.
Lake of Gil, or I think the
Yeah,
name of it
yeah,
is.
yeah. So it's not far. They like they're very close, but
Mhm,
I don't think it's quite Weeping Peninsula. But I know what you're talking about.
mhm. But with him down there, that's the same thing. The samurai is down there as well, and you meet him for the first time. So if
I
you kill the
definitely.
dragon, what happens is he assists you for whenever you walk through that valley area to one of those first caves that's down there, and you meet an invading NPC, the guy with the Reduvia dagger or whatever, the blood dagger.
Hmm.
He'll actually assist you in that fight because that's somebody he wanted to kill.
Okay.
Um, and then you can continue on to do his quest line. I kind of did it by accident, but I wanted to do his quest line because it was actually his blade that kind of carried me throughout the game, the
Okay.
Nakakiba blade, the very, very long one,
Hmm.
because I added the Bloodhound step to it. And I got just like stupid good with the dexterity and the evasiveness to do that. So that was like my end all be all until I got to the Rivers of Blood katana. After I got the Rivers of Blood katana, that's all I wanted. Like it was over after that
Yeah, yeah.
because I already knew nobody was gonna. So for the most of the time, is the Nakakiba. Like I will still go back to it if it's a hard boss fight and I can't do it with the Rivers of Blood. I'm going back and I'm making you look silly and just dancing around you. But yeah, the Weeping Peninsula and all that area was like a great area for me that I enjoyed first. And that's where I got so high up. So by the time, like I said, my little brother was like, go fight Margit. You're too damn high of a level.
Okay, so while we
And then I
talking about
went to
Margit, let's
Stormville.
let's let's talk about the two Stormville bosses. So you say Margit,
Yeah.
you was OP by the time you fought Margit, you beat him on the
Mm-hmm.
first try pretty much. So that was that. Uh, me with Margit, like I say, the first time I feel like I probably could have beat him. I would have just stuck to it. If I would have had that same mindset that I had like the rest of the game was like, bro, fuck that. These people, these enemies not better than me. I'm gonna just sit down till I beat their ass. That was my mindset for the rest of the game. But that first one, I'm like, let me turn around and just go get a few more levels and come back. But I wasn't. We was about even by the time I fought him. But it
Mm-hmm.
took me maybe let's do the scales for this is gonna be 1 to 5 deaths, 5 to 10, and more than 10. They was just real as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
or they just gave you trouble or whatever. So Margit was uh, probably 5 to 10, but on the lesser side, probably more closer
Mm-hmm.
to 5 than 10. Like, and starting out, that was pretty. When I beat him, I was like, okay, it's not so bad. You know what I'm saying? It was like that.
Yeah.
Godric, how you felt about Godric?
Um, Godric for me was pretty easy. But that's me. I'm better at bigger bosses because of my play style from what I learned in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I normally know how to get on an enemy's weak side or like their not their faint side, but just like their wide swing side. So I get missed all the time. I would say out of most bosses, the smaller ones that are like my size, they're usually the ones that give me a whole lot of trouble. Like some of the Evergold bosses gave me more trouble than Godric or any other ones. I did enjoy the Godric fight, especially seeing that the second phase with the dragon arm, because it really shifted his paradigm. Because you don't see that in Margit. Like Margit, he gets a weapon, he gets his holy
His
weapon.
new face. He don't get like the cutscene and the like, yeah, you
Hmm.
fucked up now, buddy. Dragon
But
arm. I'm powering up on your ass. Yeah, he don't do all
but
that.
but Margit's actual like fighting or battle scheme is almost the same. He just has a bigger hit. Like he has way heavier hits. Godric changes a little bit with that whole dragon arm on him, and just having that area splash damage was ridiculous. But I'd say like he was a 1 to 5 for me. But like I said, a lot of the bigger bosses they didn't give me a whole lot of trouble at all. It's honestly the smaller ones.
Okay. Uh, I feel like he's more on the smaller side. Any
Mm-hmm.
humanoid boss, that was my favorite bosses. Like the ones
Yeah.
from Godric size and down. Uh, yeah, I consider them more humanoid. That's the fun bosses. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
get to Fire Giant and the dragons are kind of lame. It's like okay, whatever, you know. I like those. You kind of with the humanoid boss, you kind of engage in the dance, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where okay, you swinging, I move, hit your ass. You know, we're doing the dance. You can't really do that with those big ass bosses. But uh, Godric was a 0 to 5 times. I'm trying to think if I had leveled up by then. Nah, I think I went straight through Stormville and just took them on like that.
I did the
After
same.
that's the thing. I felt like I was going through it quick because uh before Margit, I wouldn't get a few levels, but not a lot. I wouldn't get a lot of levels after Renala because it's like okay, I feel like I'm going through this shit quick because I beat like 3 bosses in like 2 days or like a day. It
Yep.
was it was Margit, Renala. I mean, it was Margit, Godric.
Godric, the Ronaldo.
Yeah, I feel like I must have went straight through Lernia, bro. I must have. I
Le-
beat the dragon.
Learna is really small because you beat the Red Wolf of
L-
Radagon, right? And
No,
then
no,
you,
Lernia not small. The Academy is small.
yeah,
But I
that's on
feel like I
the
must
Academy.
have streamlined. Like I passed up. No, Carrier Mantis after that. Huh? Yeah. I don't know, bro. I just ended up in. Is there a teleport or something that put you in the academy? I feel like
There,
I ended up at the academy quick without exploring Lernia. Because just recently I went through a lot of Lernia and saw a lot of shit that I didn't see before, bro. Like
well,
a lot of new
the
areas
way
and shit.
the way that the path kind of takes you, if you follow like the lights and everything, it'll take you straight to the Academy. And there are a couple of teleporters around there, but it's really to like outsource you to other parts of Liurnia. I think it's just the way that the map and how they dictated it, it kind of just it almost streamlines you to the academy.
Yeah,
Because it seems like everybody when they get to Liurnia, their first thing is that big building in the middle of the lake, which is the academy.
yeah. And it was
And
just
it
weird
was
to me
quick.
because I'm a person that explores and sees a lot of shit. So for me to get to the academy that quick, I'm trying to wonder how that happened like that. I don't know. But okay, so you beat Godric, you go through Lernia. What you think of Lernia in general? The switch up of it, is it visually? Where do you rank it among the other like outer world areas, overworld areas? Like, what you think
To
about
that
Lernia?
one, um it's up there. My favorite, I don't know why, is probably Limgrave. Probably just because it's the beginning area, the music
Same.
of it, the atmosphere.
Yeah, I like the grassy forest, cool looking. Like I like
Yeah.
that. Lernia is more like swampy. It's more like
Mhm.
droopy. You know, and the academy, I feel like might be well, no, I'm about to say
It's one
go.
of the
It's the
smallest. It's one
smallest,
of the
the
smallest.
smallest, but Red Main is probably the smallest, right?
Hmm.
If you even count, does Red Main even count as like a dungeon type? I guess it does.
It is, but it's not like a. It's not a main line.
And then I didn't even see Red Main with the enemies, but I got to Red Main, they was
Yeah.
singing and humming, and it was festival time. But apparently, there's a different version of it where you get there too early, they got smoke for you.
Oh, okay.
You didn't get that one either.
I didn't. I didn't get there far
Yeah,
enough yet.
Nah, you got to get there early. Is what I'm saying.
Or early. Yeah, I didn't get there early enough.
Yeah, you
Then.
got to get there
Yeah.
early before, I guess, before you advance the Ronnie quest far enough. I guess maybe
Uh huh.
because if you once you get that far, the soldiers are like, bro, please come fight this dude, man. Like they singing and shit. They welcoming you. If you get there too soon, they got smoke for your ass. They in there, the actual soldiers and shit. So yeah. But yeah, back
A
to
place that
back.
we did skip was Caelid, the infamous Caelid, because
Well,
that's over by
I went to
Limegrave too.
it is, but I went. I'm just kind of going through it like in my brain of like the path I took.
You took
So
okay. See,
did you go? Nah,
I
nah.
took yeah.
We could go with yours. So you went from Limgrave and then you took the right.
I went south, so to Lake Agil to Weeping Peninsula, and then when I came back up, I went right to Caelid.
Okay, okay. So you was there a little early. See, I'm one of those that was at adventuring around, fuck around,
Mm-hmm.
took a portal and ended up boom. Now I'm in the middle of fucking Caelid. So I was one of those where it's like, bro, I'm not supposed to be here. What the fuck is this?
Oh,
You look up the sky red, ugly dinosaur birds and dogs and shit burnt down, nasty. The ground has herpes. I'm just like, bro, please. I just want to go back to Limgrave. Like,
yeah.
please, I'm not in fucking Kansas anymore, bro. So that was my experience with Caelid. And I kind of just ran out of there and was like, yeah, I never want to return. To this day, I feel like I have I kind of did a sweep on it now. Like I said, I've been doing a sweep on all the areas and all the bosses and shit that I
Mhm.
haven't done. So I think I've pretty much overcame all of Caelid at this point. I think the last thing I had to do was
Yeah.
kill the dragon over there, which is definitely one of the weaker dragons because I think he's already weak from the Scarlet Rot maybe or something. I just feel like his health went down mad quick, or maybe I was OP for him by the time I got to him. I don't know.
You may have been because um he's one of the I want to say
He's very
technically he
slow.
would be
He's
yeah
small but slow, which is like he was like a
Mhm.
runt kind of. I don't know. He ain't
compared to
have
the
shit.
rest. So you took the portal, right? I actually went from because it's right after the first dead root boss that you get it from the Tibia Mariner. Right after
Hmm.
you go through that little swamp area and you
Hmm.
continue going, um, it gets gradual, but you see it like everything's green. Then all of a sudden, everything starts getting red
Oh
and
shit.
red and red. I was just like, oh, this is getting dark. Oh,
Oh shit.
where am I heading to? And
Yeah.
then those tree looking enemies are on the road too that you see all over Caelid next to the putrid trees, the ones with the spears. They're like
Uh.
traveling on the road, and then those gray worms that shoot all their sperm at you.
Yeah.
Those guys are on the road too. I was like, this is not an area I need to be in
Shit.
this early in the game.
Yeah.
Like
Nah.
this is
No
I
thanks.
traveled way too far around there in the beginning because that's when I found out about the dragon that's just kind of laying there chilling that you can kill him.
Okay, and that's the first place I went to, and I did that, and I got the fuck up out of there. I was like, give me my
Yeah,
80K or however much they gave you, 90K runes, and I pieced the fuck out.
yeah,
Yeah.
Caleb. I'm one of those who I enjoy opening up the map and in traveling, even if I'm not supposed to be there. I
Hmm.
live by the motto "fuck around and find out," and
Yeah.
I did a did a lot of that.
Not me. I was pussy as hell at first, bro.
And so I found all that and then went through Stormville up to Liurnia. But with Liurnia, I I I sped through it. I don't know what it is about that area,
Same.
but I
That's
just
why I
like
say
I
I don't
sped
know
through
what
it.
it was. I went back to it, of course, and a lot of
Mhm.
almost every side quest takes you through Liurnia, some part of
Yeah.
Liurnia where you got to do some shit. If you don't do that, it's a lot of shit you can miss. There's a lot of shit
Mhm.
that's kind of ducked off, like the Latina quest. I think that's why I missed it because I sped through Liurnia. She's like in the back of a cave or something in Liurnia.
Mhm.
I missed the Nephili quest with the Albinarics and the what I'm talking about all that.
Yeah.
with the I missed that at first. I had to go back and do that. It's a lot of shit. Well, you'll fuck around. Ronnie's Quest, of course, goes through a lot of Liurnia. It's a lot of shit where it's like, yeah,
It's a very
it's a
important
prime,
area.
yeah, it's a primary spot for sure.
But people, I don't know. Maybe it's just us. I feel like it can't be just us because honestly, it just seems like that area, from what people streaming wise, I don't see a whole lot of, or people talking about. Liurnia is like it's that mid game where you're trying to get to the next part. It seems like it's just like, all right, let me just hurry up and get through this so I can be at
It's
an
a
even higher level.
it's an NPC hub for side quests, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not a Liurnia. I'm trying to think if it had any good farming spots like mid game. That I remember farming there for a little while, but it's probably not nowhere that it was like two of those big land octopus things were. And at
Yeah.
the time, they was giving like 500 a piece, which was good for the level I was at the time, and it was pretty quick. So I farmed them. I think I farmed them after Renala actually, because that's when I did a lot of my farming, and I was like, okay, let me bulk up some because I know the next few bosses probably won't be as easy as her. Okay, so we get to the academy, right? And we're going through it, and I just feel like I blinked and I was at Ronaldo, bro. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember too much in between.
Except that carrion knight that's right in front of Renala. He's like the
Carrion
first
Knight.
true NPC who fights like a character.
Oh
The
yeah,
carrion knight.
I fucked him up, bro. Like I
Okay.
say, this was at the point though, but you got to remember, this was at the point where the wing scythe, that Ash Award that has, bro.
Mm-hmm.
People that size, where I could anybody that could get poise stunned was getting poise stunned by that. Anybody my size, or maybe even a little bigger, if they're not like ultimate boss with a crazy, they was getting stunned by that, bro. And he was a guy like those NPCs. I'm stunning them with that, bro. Unless they like have super crazy armor on, like some of those they call the Crucible
The
Knights and shit.
Crucible Knights.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
I couldn't stun them. But I have to get multiple hits. But the rest of them, like I'm breaking their poise. So most of those NPCs, I had no problem with them because when you say "voop voop," they out of there. So
he just
hit them with
gave
that a
me
couple
some
times.
because of his. I wasn't expecting his speed with the armor he had on, and then the first couple of times he got me with a parry. Because with my decks, I kind of use my speed to my advantage sometimes. Sometimes I do it to the point where it's almost spamming. And because that parry, if he parries you one good time and your poise isn't as high, which of course the dex player, it's not going to be, um, it's a break kill. So I was like, oh, okay. Like
Yeah,
this is one of those type of situations. So I had to play the dance, the cat and mouse game with him. But like I said, those
that's the
characters
most
who are more,
that's the most fun fights to me.
yeah,
Honestly,
those guys always give me a little bit more problems because, like I said, they're usually just as fast as me, so I have to be a little bit
crafty.
more crafty with
Yeah, you gotta
what I'm
think. You
doing.
gotta think the fight out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the worst part was during that time I was not a magic user. Like it wasn't that I was refusing, I just didn't have a build for it. And he uses magic a whole lot. And
Hmm.
so that's when I started learning. I was like, I need to start finding weapons to kind of even the playing field because some of these dudes, it doesn't matter what. Like if you go through it and you're just like a dex build like I was doing that, it is really, really hard without any type
Hmm.
of magic or buff to make it through these people. So that's
Yeah.
when I think I found the Moonveil katana. But that Bloodhound step helped me out a lot. Like I was dodgy. I was dodgy.
So I'm not gonna lie, those mages in there were fucking annoying. Just because
Yes.
they pack so many of them into like these small areas where it's like, bro, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And that shit, my poise was so low that I'm getting hit by it. So it's like down, down, bam, bam, like I can't even move. Like it's like
Yeah.
my dude look like he in a fucking electric chair or something, bro. He's just like ah. The next thing you know, I'm dead because that shit does damage. So I kind of had to be
They
I
smack you
kind of
with the book.
I kind of had to strategize the way I went through those hallways, like before I even got to the
Mhm.
wolf fight. Where it's like, man, how the fuck I'm? So I kind of really had to snipe them with the lightning bolts and really like, okay, lure one of them because once they start popping off, bro, it's tough to get them off your ass. Not
Yeah,
gonna
it
lie,
is.
the mages got something. Uh, so okay, you make it through that first area, and like it's so small that I can kind of go by step, kind of, because I feel like it was unless I'm missing something, I'm gonna go back
Mhm.
through all of them just to make sure. But I
Did
remember
you
it
ever go
clearly,
all the way down
all the
the
way down,
academy?
all the way down.
So you know how there's that revolving lift that's in the academy. So when you are going up
Yeah,
toward
yeah,
Ronaldo,
yeah, yeah,
so if
yeah.
you literally take that, right, because of course it goes all the way up. If you
Forgot
get
about that's
off
the
of it,
first area. Yeah, I forgot about
uh-huh,
that. That was a
if
cool
you get
looking
off
area
of
too.
it, get
Okay,
off of it, and then you get back on, it'll take you all the way down. And there's actually like a pit in the crystals of the Ray Academy, like all the glintstone crystals and all that. It's all the way down there.
no fucking shit. You see what I'm saying, people? Do you see what I'm saying? A month and a half, I've beaten the shit, thinking I know something. And look at this. Live time, I learned some new shit. But once again, this is Nick saying this. So I'll have to go I'll have to go fact check, of course. But I hope that he was right. Because that makes two places where I need to go to the basement. Because I still never did in Stormville. So bet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
There's a
so bet. I
glitch
need to
down there.
say
There's
less.
a it's mainly for early game. If you watch the guy who first broke the hour stream,
Hmm.
he does it because there's one of those uh tomb machines, the ones that open up and it grabs you and
Mm.
brings you in. It's got like those arms,
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
axes or the. So if you get killed by it down there, like if you let it grab you and take you in and it eats you and kills you, it automatically um brings you to Volcano Manor.
Yeah, and they
I don't
lock you
know.
up. Okay, I saw people talking about that, and I let
Yeah.
it grab me a couple times, but it wasn't there. It was somewhere
Mhm.
else.
It has to be that specific one. Why I don't know. I guess there's lore behind that one, but
Yeah,
it
it is.
eats you and it
Yeah.
and it brings you to a Volcano Manor.
Okay. Wow.
Mm,
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to go revisit that. Okay. So, but okay. So you're going through it. This is after what I'm talking about is after that,
yeah.
and you finesse through the hallways with the thousand mages, and you fight the red haired wolf or whatever the fuck, Radagon's
Yeah.
wolf, whatever it's
Mhm.
called, which little lore tidbit that was Radagon's wolf that he left there to protect Renala because he
Mhm.
still kind of loved her. So yeah, that's why that was there. Okay, now where I fucked up at and where I was getting fucked up by the mages again, where is I took that left path and I was like, no, I'm gonna go through here because you could go right and you go right and go up the thing and Renala's right there, right? So I'm going through the left spot, and bro, I'm getting fucked up. Like time after a little fluky shit too. And that's what pissed me off the most. Like little fluky shit where it's not like I'm just, not able, where it's just like, bro,
Yeah.
bullshit just keep happening. That's kind of what that left path was with the mages. And then there was the little flying dudes that
Yeah.
like just don't stop, bro. It was one of them. Okay, so I had tried a couple times, like 2, 3 times, ended up dying. So this third time, I was like, bro, I'm finna just run through my shit to get my rooms and fucking, bro. I jumped, where's the rooftop area to the left?
Yep.
I'm jumping down the shit. They are still chasing me. I'm like, but I hadn't realized, so I kind of slowed down. Next thing you know, I'm getting tapped in the back of my head, pop, 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 and I'm dead. Lost my rooms just like that, bro. I will never forget that death. I was wounded the fuck up. Like I had some runes on me, bro. That pissed me off so bad. And that is when I think I was like, man, fuck it. I'm not even going that way no more. I'm finna go see what's going on over here. Went up
Yeah.
there just exploring and shit. You fight the NPC guy. Uh Made pretty easy work. I'm thinking he's just the boss. No. You take a lift and boom, you're at Renala. And I'm like, bro, what the what the
Mhm.
hell?
Right after
I'm
the
thinking
carrying night.
yeah, I'm thinking you gotta go through all that other shit and like go through the rooftops and go because they have this whole other area over there. But no, the bus is right here. Like almost as soon as you come through the shit, which is wild to me. What did you think of the Renala fight?
Just like any of the other mage fights, it's kind of underwhelming if you're a melee guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were a magic user, you probably had some problems with her. But first phase, I killed her first try, like without even watching anything on her. Now that second phase, when she comes out with that Kamehameha, that scared me a little bit. I was like, "Oh, what is this?"
um,
Yeah, she got me there. But like I said, it's like any other mage fight. Like it was
how
okay,
many
but
times it took you? Zero to five?
like I said, one. It took
Oh,
me
one time.
literally first try. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Ronaldo, it might have been the second, maybe third try, second. I want to say like the second or something. But I will say that like the night before, I was watching this dude stream and he ended up fighting her.
Mhm.
So I did have prior knowledge of the fight. Like I knew the shit to look for, just look for the little chick that's throwing the books. Like bet. So I knew all that. So I flew through the first phase. I knew the Kamehameha was coming, which I still want to say she got me with the first time. And I think that was my only death. I think she still got, and I knew it was coming. I don't know what I was doing. I must have been digging in my ear or something, but I got hit with that shit. Um, Second one made pretty easy work of her. Yeah, it was definitely a beautiful fight.
Yeah.
The concept was cool with the library, chicks throwing up books. It was definitely interesting. It was cool. If it was a little tougher, which I hate to ask for because there's plenty of tough shit in here, so it's kind of a sigh of relief that it wasn't crazy hard. But maybe if it was a little harder, it would have been like a top three fight maybe, just
Yeah.
because off of the mechanics, it's something different. And fighting in front of the big ass moon and like this other universe or whatever the fuck it was, or on the
It
moon,
was a
whatever that
problem
was.
solving one too, because it wasn't just like your typical other bosses you just faced, where it was like the boss is right in front of you, you have to kill the boss. No, it was like you got to go and find
Yeah, that's what I'm
her
saying.
little.
It was a thing. It was a gimmick to it, which is
Mhm,
cool. But it wasn't a full gimmick fight. Like she's still trying to put something on you. It wasn't
mhm.
just a big puzzle, but her first phase was definitely a gimmick sort of thing. Um, super easy, easiest phase in the game for sure. Uh, and the second fight is beautiful. If you're trash, you'll probably give you a little give you a little. I don't want to say trash because different people struggle with different things. I might say that I struggle with some on here that somebody listening to this or you maybe be like, bro, I killed that shit. I barely remembered it because I killed it so fast. I killed it
Mhm.
on my first try, whatever. It might be something that gave me the most trouble. That's another beautiful thing about this game. Depending on your build, depending on your play style, you know, you might it's different difficulties just in that in itself. Uh, but yeah, she was pretty easy to me. And most boss battles, what I do is I kind of keep my distance, hit them with the lightning bolts. They run up on me. I give it to them up close. Give my like I had a nice balance to my build. But for the most part, now that I look at it, I was definitely like more rangy, but I did have the ability to go in and give somebody damage. So for her, nah, you know what? For her, I think I just ran up on her, bro. Gave it all one too. She was out in a few of them.
Yeah.
Low HP, low poise. So yeah, she was cool. Did you know that was Ronnie that was talking like in that second phase? She was like, you probably
Yeah,
ain't read.
because
Next time you fight
well,
her, she was
because
like, yo, leave my mama alone, bro.
it's
She was
in
like,
the
I fuck with
cutscene.
you, but like, leave my mama alone. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I didn't
it
realize
was in
because
the
you just
cutscene.
hear her
Mhm,
voice. I didn't realize
mhm.
until I was watching some other videos. It's like, yeah, that's Ronnie. Ronnie is a very interesting character that we'll get
She,
to more later. You want to cut it off here? We're at an hour. Um,
I
and we
think we
don't.
go a little bit lower, at least to Lindell. You know what I mean? Because
Okay. Okay.
we there's still a lot that we can cover. Because even Atlas Plateau, I felt like was maybe halfway through the game. Honestly,
Okay.
that may have been a halfway point if we're looking at it from not from these speed users, but from somebody who's actually going through and enjoying the game. Because at Atlas Plateau was one of those points where I needed to level up a little bit more to get through to get to Lindell. Because then after Lindell, what you still have another area, Farm Missoula, and well the giant mountaintops, and then Farm Missoula, and then you
Yeah.
go back. So
Okay.
like, yeah, we there's
Okay.
still a lot of the game.
We keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, while we're at Renata, before we get off of her, quick lore thing, another quick lore thing that you might have not knew. Okay, so basically, the way you give a woman a ring when you get married to her,
Mhm.
the women of the carrying women give their men great swords. That's why when you marry Ronnie, she gives you the what is called the Moon Great Sword, whatever the fuck it's called, the Moon
The
Blade Great Sword,
moonlight,
whatever,
the moonlight sword, the moonlight
Moonlight,
sword, or
whatever the
whatever.
fuck it's called, the Moon
Hmm.
something, whatever. What is it? Uh, okay, Renala did the same thing for Radagon when they were married, and the sword is actually in the game. It's just called something else. It's called the Golden Order Great Sword or something like that. Did you get that
Hmm.
one? Did you? It's in the
I haven't gotten that one.
It's in the. It's
Capital?
something
Is
else.
it
I
in
gotta know the consecrated snowfield, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
It's a dungeon or something where you fight a misbegotten warrior. It's basically like the other misbegotten warrior in Weeping
The
Peninsula.
Gafted Great Sword. Yeah.
He's like the same enemy, but he has that sword and it's golden
Okay.
now and shit. But you look at the description
Hmm.
and it says, yeah, he
It's from
redid it,
Radagon.
but he got it from Ronaldo or
Mhm.
whatever. So
Okay.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope. I haven't gone. Well, I haven't. I didn't know there was an underground area in the consecrated snowfields.
Well, yeah. I went to one of them. What I got from it? I went to like the catacombs one. This was probably like another. I don't know. Is it a dungeon? Not sure. But it's a few shit. There's another mimic in it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I
But
haven't gotten to that mimic.
okay. So did we cover Caleb or do we want to come back to Caleb
We can
for
come back because that I feel like
Radon?
that's a whole turnaround because I feel like you're not supposed to get to Caelid till after Liurna. Then you get to Karya Manor. Then at Karya Manor, when you meet Ronnie, then now your quest line takes you backwards, which I think is so great. Because that's if you take it as far as Rainey's quest line go, you're supposed to go up and then back,
Mm,
right? Because that's when you finally go and meet Radon and you find out why Caelid is Caelid and everything else.
trying to think.
But if you
I know exactly where I went after learning. But okay, so after Renata, like I was saying, is when I started forming and
Mhm.
really just exploring. Like I was like, yo, let
Yeah.
me slow down and like I'll say more. It was more exploring because I didn't do that much just sitting down and forming. I did a couple times, but most of the time it was mostly exploring. So I'm going in these different areas, looking around, and somehow I ended up in Siofra. Siofra well, whatever I took that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, that was another point in the game maybe since Stormville where I'm going down. You know, you're going down the lift, and then
It's a long
first of all, yeah. First of all, you're like, damn, I've been on this shit for a while. I'm looking at the watch. God damn, when is this shit just going? And then the shit on the lift is blue, like the blue waves of the shit. I'm like, hold on, this ain't no regular lift here. This some different shit. This shit's still going down. I'm like, God damn it. They put me into a different game? Am I going to end up in Bloodborne or something? God damn. Going down, you start seeing the stars on the fucking, but you going underneath, but now it's like
Mhm.
a starry sky up bro. That might be the most beautiful moment in the game. Like entering that area and then noticing that, bro, this not just no regular. No, I'm in a whole nother fucking like you
part of the
know,
game.
part of this is his own map. And
Yeah.
you're just like, bro, what the hell is this, bro? Like the scale it was this game, like it blew my mind. It blew my mind. When did you make it to that area and what you thought about
Um I made it when I was in the Weeping Peninsula cuz there's the one uh lift in the Mistwoods
it?
where
Okay.
all the bears are. I think that's the original one that everybody's supposed to get to first, but of course everybody goes their different ways.
The
I didn't
original one,
travel the
I think the original one is the one you're supposed to go to with Blythe, which I backtracked and did it. But I think that's
yeah.
the first time you even supposed to go to it at all. I hit it
Mhm.
before Blythe, before I even like really started the running
Mhm.
quest. I hit all that.
That's what I did. I hit it before Blythe, so that part it already skipped to basically the Radon part, but when I went down there, I remember, um, again, it was one because there's two lifts like that, and this one was a long ass lift too. And but I didn't stay that long down there the first time. I was like, all right, I'll go up a little bit, and it's those cave miners down there that like if you have a slash or a pierce sword, it just bounces right off of them. So I didn't have a whole lot of other weapons, like a blunt weapon to actually smack them with. So I'm not doing any damage. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna weave through here, get a couple of things, and then I'm gonna dip. And then it wasn't until later when I found the other one, where the one that you found, and I was like, oh, there's a lot. There's a lot more to this underground area. I thought it was just like a one seated area. There's that,
Now,
and
bro, I'm fucked up. I don't remember if I got to like the big area first or the part with the ants where you. Nah, I think cause it's Siofa River. That's the part with the ants
mm,
and shit, right?
yes, the river is with the ants. Ooh, yeah, those
Okay.
ants.
Well, I think that's what I got to first. And you fight the big soldier of Noxtella or whatever
Yep,
at the end.
the dragon skin one, right? Or the just
Yeah,
the knight.
dragon skin,
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
dragon king, whatever. Yeah, you
Yeah,
beat that one.
there's like three or four of
And
those.
when you finish going through it, is that then when you end up like in the bigger area? I'm trying to remember how that goes now.
Sephora. No, the
When
river is
when
supposed to
you're
lead you.
lighting like the lamps and shit, like
No,
where you
no,
meet
no.
Blythe at.
That's actually the well. So where you're at in the river is more later game because the river takes you to the Lake of Rock.
Yeah, okay, because I was about to say nah, but I went back to it and then it did that.
Yeah.
Like I had to revisit for everything for a side quest. I had to revisit because I was exploring so crazy that I caught
Hmm.
all these areas before the side quest took me there. So I revisited a lot of these areas when I did the side quest for them. I'm trying to think though, but I'm thinking about yeah the part with the ants and shit. That's nasty. I hate those fucking ants. I'm talking
Nice.
about the part where it's like the blue spirit guys and you're lighting
Hmm.
the things, and that's the first time you
That's at
fight
the
the.
Mistwood. So you would have had to have done that later because you would have ended up at the river unless you made it. Because there is a way to go from the river to the well portion of it where it is that bigger mapped area. So you could have done it
I was
enough
just
where
in
you were
Mistwood,
down
bro.
there.
I was just in Mistwood. It just so happened to like, cause you know it's like it is Mistwood. It was
Yeah.
misty as hell, like foggy. And all of a sudden, I'm looking around, cause I think there's a tree around there too. I think the
Yep. There's an tree or a
yeah,
minor
a
tree.
minor urge tree. So I just fought that boss. So I was just
Hmm.
walking around, and I'm looking. I'm like, hold on, this is a big ass thing. And I look for a door, and it brought me down there. I think that's how I ended up there the first time, and that's where Blythe. You know, if you're doing the quest line, but he wasn't there that time because I hadn't even met him yet.
Hmm.
Uh, but
And
anywho,
yeah.
that area blew my mind, bro. And I went through the whole thing. I fought the spirit deer
Hmm.
Pokemon looking nigga. Fought
So
fought him.
do
Uh,
you know the whole thing behind the minor trees and the tree itself
nah, what
and
about him?
how it came to be? So in some lore, a lot of people are considering it a parasite because remember there was a tree and other things that lived there
Okay, I'm gonna stop
before.
you. I'm gonna stop you right there. You're talking about Vati. He said that,
Yes.
and he put a video out today uh pretty much clarifying that no, it's not a parasite. He made a mistake. That's not what he meant to say. Uh, it was more like a symbiote. Like it's not a
Symbiote,
parasite,
yeah.
but he said parasite though. But
Yeah.
he put out a video. He said a bunch of bullshit in that video. Like I don't know what he was on because usually he kind of on the money because I've been listening to his Dark Souls shit and all that, you know. And usually he like gives you facts from the actual. But this
Mhm.
video he had. I don't know what he must have been drunk when he did that one. I don't know. But but yeah, continue though. My bad.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I
I'm
mean,
just saying. Vati today
yeah,
said
he
he
came
didn't
out
mean
and said
parasite.
that. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
He okay. I mean, parasite. I get the more symbiotic thing, but
yeah.
yeah, basically that the Erd tree took over for I guess the old tree where because that's where Lucis Stacks is where because what did he say? Some of the
The
creatures
great
that were
tree.
here, the Great Tree, yeah, the some of the creatures that were there before the Erd tree took over. Like I didn't know the Crucible Knights are that old. Like they're a part of the Great Tree's lineage, and then the little weird dudes, they're like half monkey with the wings. They're
Demigods. I mean the
Are-
demi-humans.
yeah, the demi-humans. I think it was the demi-humans and the Crucible Knights, and there was some other creature that were there during the Great Trees era.
Mm,
That but then I guess they were all technically enslaved
yeah,
by the Ur tree and its beings that came into light as well. So basically, the Ur tree itself is just horrible because they're the ones who killed off all the dragons or ran the dragons out because the Placidusix, or however you say his name, he's technically like the first lord of the lands before the Erd tree came into being, and like all so
yeah. It's a
yeah,
lot.
finding out more about that, it was just like, okay, so it makes sense now with the you have the big Erd tree and then all the other ones that kind of came out and about around all the areas. But yeah, I
Hmm.
could see it more as like a symbiote rather than a parasite.
Yeah. Uh. Okay. So yeah, that was the next area. That was pretty cool. That, like I said, that put a lot of the shit into context. I remember there's a certain area where you're going through and you catch one of those uh horse trampoline things, and you go up
Yes.
and you end up on one of those cliffs. And if you look across the thing, you could tell from way across the thing that like there's somebody standing over there. You're like, bro, who the fuck is this? So I'm on Reddit, like, looking for this shit. Everybody saying I didn't even know who Bly was at the time. Everybody saying Bly,
Hmm.
Bly, yeah, that's Bly. I don't know but they was talking about the cliff where he stands like regularly, like
Hmm.
for his actual thing. So
You're
they
talking
never
about
really
the
answered.
lift behind it. There's a catapult right behind Blide's area that you're talking about if
Yeah,
you look up on.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you go to the end of the thing, and there's somebody like standing on the edge of the thing like a badass. Eventually, I couldn't find nobody else that like thought the same thing, so I'm just like, man, fuck it, they not even. I'm not even gonna find it. So I never found a way to get there until like a couple weeks ago. You take not a couple, like last week. So it's a Crucible night. All you see when you look across the
Yes.
thing is his silhouette though. So you take one
Yes.
of those bell fry
In
things, which is also in Lernia, four bell fries, the four bell fry, which is basically
yes, with the
four
imbued sword,
teleporters.
sword key.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the special sword key
Uh
imbue
huh.
one, and it takes you to four different areas, and
Hmm.
yeah, one of them takes you to
That
that
one.
area.
Okay.
Yeah,
No shit. So that's what you're seeing. Because I use one of the
it's a
keys
Crucible Knight.
to go fight that one to fight that Crucible Knight over there. That's far. You do realize on the map that is far
Y-
as shit away from each other.
Yeah, yeah. When you
Yeah.
looking at it, he's so far you can't even tell what it is or who it.
Hmm.
He's just like looking off into the shit like he looked like a super last level boss at me, like the way he's just chilling up there, bro. I'm like, bro, I gotta fight this dude, but it's just a Crucible Knight. But I was just finally, because I was like, bro, who the fuck is that? I'm like, yo, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe it is Bly, because I like looking through the shit.
Hmm.
Of course, you eventually find that like eventually you have to fight Bly. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe that is Bly, but they just rendered him into the game at that spot before you actually get to him. So
Yeah.
maybe that is him just waiting for you, even though he's right here talking to me right now. Type of shit.
Hmm.
I'm like, maybe that's what that is. Nope, it's a Crucible Knight. And guess what? When you kill him, I went back to the spot. He's not there no more because you beat his ass. But he's way over. Like that blows my mind
Way.
though. Like he's way the fuck over there. So yeah.
And all those parts they kind of connect, but they kind of don't. I think the only one that doesn't, I think, is the Nokrum or Nokrum city. That one you kind of have to you have to quest through Ronnie's quest to actually get to it. But I think like Sephora, the well, and of course the river connect.
Yeah, to that
Um,
area, to that area
mhm.
right there. Yeah. Um, while we on the Crucible Knights, I think it's 16 and all. Did you kill them all? I have one more that I have to kill because I kind of counted them all off on like a list.
You
It's
know
one more
that
that I need, and I could get to.
I
I
did
know
not
exactly what.
know
Because
there
there's
was
one you killed the
16
one in
in one.
Stormville. That's the only one I have left.
Where is he?
If you went to the bottom, you should have fought him. I think,
Yeah,
unless he's at
then yeah,
another.
I've killed him
Yeah,
before then.
yeah.
Um, I did not know that. Did you know that there's 100? Because somebody did it. They did a speed run of all the bosses. There's 107 bosses in the game.
Hmm.
Did not know that there was 107 of them. Like 107 of those guys out there with the big red bars at the bottom of their fucking screen. And I
Yeah,
don't think I've faced. I may have
bro.
faced like
It's
maybe 60.
what you get to realizing is a lot of them are so easy that you forget about them. Like I was going through a lot of them, and I was either like, damn, okay, I remember him, but you don't remember him until you read the name. Like, okay, like a lot of those names is like you just forgot about them because you kind of swiped them 2 times and they was out of there. So that's a lot of them. And it's some of them that you didn't think they would be considered bosses. There were. It's like, oh, I
Or if
guess you
you're
did
too
have to
high
really
of a
thinking about
level
them.
and you go back to them, you do know like their bars will shrink too sometimes.
Mm,
Like they'll
okay.
become like because some of the putrid trees, they might just not be bosses, but there's sometimes like guys will start having the bars over their head because you're at
Yeah.
a high level where they're kind of a boss but not really.
Yeah. Um. Give me a second. Uh. But yeah. Yeah. I got the one in Stormville, and that's it. And like I say, I did a sweep. The only ones I have left, and I eventually I want to do a whole thing like just on the bosses, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a ranking them, like what was
Mhm.
the toughest dragon, like all that. I want to go through all that. But the only ones I have left for now, I want to go get that Crucible Knight, and then there's like 3 in the consecrated snowfield. There's another mimic. There's a misbegotten warrior with that sword,
Mhm.
and there's a black kindred, like the dude that's in front of the mausoleum in the beast area in Caled,
Yeah.
guarding the bestial sanctum. There's
Mhm.
another one in the consecrated
There's
snowfield.
Night Riders too.
Um,
They the Night Riders only come out because there's a carriage.
Bro, how we supposed to find all this shit if it's like in a blizzard? That's why I didn't even explore it crazy the first time.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like a
there's a dragonkin. There's a dragonkin warrior in the blizzard. Did you
bro.
run
I
up
didn't
on him
find
by
shit.
accident?
No, bro. It was
That
so
dude scared the
annoying.
shit out of me.
It was so annoying going through this shit, bro. I was just
Hmm.
wanting to get through it and just get to Millennia. I'm like, bro. It was late. I knew I was gonna be fighting her for a long time. I had it on my mind that she had. I had it on my mind that she had to die that night. So I was just like, bro, I knew once I got to the Halleck area, there was gonna be some more shit I had to go through. So I'm
Yeah.
like, bro. So I didn't explore none of that really.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, after that area, not consecrated snowfield, but the well area.
Yeah. The well area.
I'm trying to think. Where did I go next? Where do you go next?
I think after that
Well,
was
where
I
did you
was
go after
back
Anala?
in after Renala. I
Yeah.
Caria Manor, Caria Manor. I
Okay.
I went up there. But I didn't go to the left at first because that's where Ranny and all them were. I went like forward. Well, I kind of went. Yeah, you watched me on that part because you were like, "Go run up on them spiders," and I was like, "Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good on those things." Like, I I I will. I had been waiting for those kind of monsters to show up. Um. So yeah, I went through there, and it wasn't until later on I went to the left because I remembered going in. I was like, "There's a whole area to the left I haven't explored yet. I need to go that way and see." And that's when I fought Loretta. Uh, that first time as well. But Karia was my next on the hit list, other than all the caves that I was doing, because I was doing a shit ton of caves.
Now that I think about it, like after that, yeah, I think eventually I went up north to Caria, and bro, when I say those hands gave me the blues, oh my god, bro, they was giving me hell, like for real. Uh, I remember there was one time where I saw it, like, cause they'll be underground, bro.
Hmm.
So it was one time I saw him underground, like, yeah, you think he's slick? No, I'm not going to walk on you so you could grab me and scare the shit out of me. No. And then I saw an item like maybe 20 feet away. I'm focused on the item, bro. Why they put a hand right under the fucking item,
Yeah,
bro?
I know
Scared the
exactly
shit out.
what.
Bro, I think I dropped my whole ass like controller, bro.
They caught you on TikTok or
Yes,
YouTube.
yes, yes. It was terrible. So yeah, that was. I hated that place. I hated that place. Were there any like big bosses in Carrier Man besides Loretta? Oh, it was just Loretta.
The Glintstone Dragon that you only get to take down half of its health. The one that
That was the
disappears.
toughest dragon to me too, because it ends up outside the church by Ronnie, right?
Yep.
That was the toughest dragon to me out of all of them by like a margin. To me, that
I'm
dragon was
trying to
tough.
think. I think it was the one on the bridge next to Bestial Sanctum, and it's mainly because of the space that it's in.
Yeah,
Other
yeah.
than that, it 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 was just like any other dragon. It's just he
You
hits
burning something?
hard, and then there's not a whole lot of places you can dodge. It was one of those um dragons that just was more of an annoyance than anything else.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, like the Coria Manor, and then I think for a while I was cave diving. I was just cave diving and trying to find every little thing, especially when I found out about the smithing bells. Um, and those smithing bells definitely do come in handy, especially in game wise, whenever you're trying to buy smithing stones or the somber smithing stones. So for a while, I was just down there trying to figure out which bosses gave me the equipment to be able to buy all the items that I needed to buy. Because searching for those shits was always hard to do unless you knew exactly where to farm for them.
Right. Right. Uh. So let's end it here for now, bro. We at
Yeah.
1:30. This is a good spot, and this will be the part one. Y'all check us out. If you like this, get ready for the part two. It'll be here about like end of the week. I'm thinking. What you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I'd say by the end of the week.
For
We'll
sure.
probably finish up on our journey on our first journey before we get into anything else after that, right?
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
has been Mike, Mikeauxl on all the socials. Catch the YouTube, the TikTok, Twitch, all that. It's my boy I Duffel Shuffle. He's been streaming lately. Shout out to him. Oh man, content
Yeah,
creator.
oh man, yeah,
Yeah,
trying.
man. And we'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Later.
Yeah, later.